let me tell you something. This thing is not over yet as we welcome you to Phillies Postgame Live. They're not in the playoffs yet. Ricky Pitalico and Michael Barkan, Ruben Amaro Jr. coming up in moments. This team has 33 games left, and they got to win all of the ones that they can. I'm not saying they're not trying, but they were 7-0 up. They lose 13-7. We were talking about, it was just a little 5-0 clunker to Cincinnati. No big deal. They now have lost 18-7 against the Cincinnati Reds and the Arizona Diamondbacks, Ricky.
Pittsburgh Pirates.
Excuse me, Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah,
with Cincinnati at the end of the previous
here's the problem.
road trip.
Your offense spotted you 7 runs, and all of a sudden you can't hold that lead. I have a very serious problem with Ranger Suarez as of late. In his last start, he had control problems. Later on in that start, same exact thing happens in this one. Doesn't get help by an error by Gene Segura, but you have to help out your fielders. If they mess up, you try to pick them up the best you can. But my biggest problem comes a little bit later than that. Christopher Sanchez, I mean, come on. You're talking about walk after hits batsman, and then Bellotti comes in after that. He doesn't do anything better. Those two combined for 5 walks and a hits batter in just over 2 innings. That's not exactly what you're looking for out of your bullpen. The one thing that is missing here is some guts. You know, have some guts. Throw some fastballs. I saw more 3-2 breaking pitches with the bases loaded. What are you, afraid? Use your fastball, hit a spot.
Challenge a guy.
Hit a spot with your fastball. It's the best pitch in the world. And you're throwing sliders that are starting off the plate and going a foot further off. I have issues with this. And when I saw Bellotti do that, he did it, I think it was on 3 separate occasions. You got to be able to challenge somebody. Especially, I mean, you're in a ball game where you're trying to hold your team together and you're trying to get them back in to swing the bats, and all of a sudden you're walking guys with the bases loaded. Suck it up and throw some strikes.
Let's go out to Arizona right now and check in with Ruben Amaro Jr., who called tonight's game with Tom McCarthy. Ruben, 22 batters come to the plate in the 4th and 5th inning for the Arizona Diamondbacks as we watch the base runners mount up, we watched the runs mount up, and the Phillies defense was helpless. It wasn't just the pitchers. There were errors and should have been called errors and all sorts of other mistakes that beset this Phillies team in the 4th and the 5th. 12 runs scored then.
Yeah, I mean, it was an ugly game. There's no question about it. I mean, it started off so beautifully. I mean, everything was working on all cylinders, and then, I mean, we hit that 5th inning, and it just blew up. I mean, it was I don't know if I've ever witnessed a game like that was that lopsided both ways. It was unfortunate that, you know, they did make the error. I mean, Ricky pointed it out. Segura typically is very sure-handed. Didn't really quite come to get the ball aggressively. Got an in-between hop, and unfortunately couldn't make that out. But, you know, the pitcher's got to pick guys up after that. And Ranger Suarez just did not throw enough strikes, quality strikes. Made a couple of tough 0-2 pitches that I did not like. And things got away from him very, very quickly. And unfortunately, I mean, the bullpen just blew up. I mean, just, you know, Christian Sanchez just did not throw the ball well. And, you know, for a guy to be walking 5 people in an inning and hitting a batter, that's just not Major League Baseball for me.
You got to worry about winning every single game, don't you?
Oh, there's no question about that. I mean, you can't be looking too far past too many teams. I mean, it's one game at a time. It sounds boring. They've had a couple of tough games, and they got to bounce back. Again, this is a game you got to flush. And they got a tough opponent in Zach Gallen tomorrow. He's a very good pitcher. He's one of the best right-handers in all of baseball, one of the best starters right now. And, you know, Aaron Nole's been throwing the ball very well. Should be a good matchup. But they got to flush this game. They come back and play a nice, clean game tomorrow. And, hey, it's tough to play on the West Coast. This is not the great start, but they can bounce back. This is still a very good club. They had a tough game today. And I think it's a much better club than what they showed today, clearly, by the way they played. But, you know, they're going to have to come back, bounce back, and play good, solid baseball.
Yeah, I'm planning on flushing this in about 30 minutes. I'm going to flush it right down the toilet.
Maybe a little earlier. Let's flush it right down the toilet.
Well, you're going to be done in a minute, but I'm going to ask you one more question. What is your concern level right now with Ranger Suarez? Because His last start and this start looked eerily familiar towards the end, losing his location, and that's a big issue, I think, with Ranger Suarez on the mound.
Yeah, that happened pretty fast. I mean, he was dealing. I mean, he was throwing his, we talked about it. Throwing that fastball
Yeah,
in.
he didn't give up a hit till that inning.
Yeah, he was throwing the ball extremely well, keeping the ball in on those right-handers, making his pitches, and then it almost seemed like he gave up that one hit, and all of a sudden it broke his concentration or something. It was just weird, and things just kind of blew up on him. He made a couple of 0-2 changeup pitches that were just a couple of bizarre calls. I didn't understand some of those. But besides that, he just started losing his command completely, and that's something that just can't happen.
One more thing. Andrew Bellotti. What is up with this love of a 3-2 slider all the time? Especially with the bases loaded.
I was a little surprised by those pitches, but he's done it in the past. He's had success throwing that slider, but especially when he's behind into the count, sometimes he feels very comfortable with that pitch, but I was a little surprised he did it today.
Last one, Ruben. Yeah, by the way, we're having a telethon. We're going to dawn. Okay, so stay. But it's earlier out. It's earlier out there.
I'm having trouble with my audio.
We shouldn't be laughing because this was a really bad loss. It might have been the loss of the season. I'm not laughing either. But when you look at the run scored by the Phillies, 7-0, and then the defense gives them back and then some. How much does that create a problem for the offense to go out and match it? You're up 7-0. All of a sudden, you're looking at 12-7 down.
Yeah, I mean, you want to try to continue to play baseball the way you're supposed to play, and you concentrate every at-bat, try to grind them out. I was a little surprised that he did not get a hit after the fourth inning. That was a little surprising for me because you have to continue to put the pedal to the metal, continue to try to score runs. You got to give some credit to the D-backs bullpen because they threw the ball well. They're not a great bullpen, and I think that this offense is much better than that. But I was a little surprised. I think you're probably right. I think the offensive players were probably a little shocked that they got knocked out in with those two 6-run innings. I mean, but that can't be the excuse. You got to keep grinding it out. Do your best to try to control your at bats. And try to bounce back. Unfortunately, it did not happen today.
All right, Ruben, thank you. We'll talk to you later today. Ruben Amaro Jr. joining us from Phoenix, calling this loss with Tom McCarthy. Let's take a look at chasing October and where the Phillies stand right now. Wild card standings up to the moment as they lose 13-7 to the Arizona Diamondbacks, unthinkably after a 7-0 lead. Ricky Bo, there they are, 2 games up on the Padres, and they're the Brewers lurking now. They're right there. So
yeah, I think the one thing you got going, I mean, Aaron Nola coming up in the rotation, that kind of gives you a nice warm fuzzy feeling. But I mean, for some reason they don't win games out in Arizona, which I never thought of it like that. I never thought of that
6
ballpark.
straight loss at Arizona.
Right, I never thought of that ballpark as a place that's hard to play in. Maybe you relax there. And you know what's odd? It kind of reminds me a little bit of Florida, where the Marlins
they had
play.
Trouble.
It's kind of quiet. You don't get that energy level built up there. Maybe they're having a little bit of an issue with that, and because it seems like they used to have it in Florida the same way. But they can't let that happen this time because, you know what, I know you're going into San Francisco right after that too, but that's also not an easy series.
No, it's not. And they have trouble out in San Francisco as well. Turning point indeed. Diamondbacks' 4th and 5th innings, where they sent 22 batters to the plate, and they scored 12 runs. More aptly, the Phillies gave up 12 and 8 hits and 4 extra base hits, 6 walks, and 1 hit batter.
You know what's disgusting? 91 pitches in the 4th and 5th innings. That tells me you're not challenging anybody. You're not locating your fastball. That's what baseball is all about. You have your secondary pitches to put people away. But if you're not getting to the point where you have a 2-strike count with only 2 balls or less, I mean, then what are you really doing out there? Christopher Sanchez looked awful.
Terrible.
I mean, Terrible, yeah, is a good word.
Answer this one for me, and hopefully Rob Thomson will get asked this question and answer it as well. The Phillies were up 7-0. They get scored on 7-1, 7-2. There's 2 out, and then Carroll, E4 by Segura. Okay, bases are loaded. Next batter is Perdomo. Walk on a full count. That makes it 7-3, and then they're off to the races.
Right, and then this is where the problems.
There's 2 shots there.
The problems with Ranger Suarez are starting with location. He's not hitting. You heard Ruben say on those pitches on the inside part to righties. He's leaving those out over the plate, or he's missing either down or in. And when you're doing that, you're adding more pitches onto your program, which you don't want to really do. But I mean, it seems as though Ranger's getting in a little bit of a mode when he's not getting in there. He's afraid to throw the ball over the plate on the outside part of the plate. And when that happens, all you start doing is a little parade. You know what? I'm going to just start walking everybody, or I'm afraid to throw the ball over the plate. And then when you do, it's a little bit elevated, slap down in the right field corner for a couple runs. And that's Ranger's getting in trouble because he's putting himself in trouble. And I know there was an error in that inning, but pitch your way out of it. Help out Gene Segura.
Rob Thomson on one of the worst losses of this season.
That was kind of ugly to watch. What was it like from your perspective?
Frustrating, frustrating for everybody. We got to the 4th, and all of a sudden, Rangers lost the plate, and they were hitting holes and barreling them up a little bit, and couldn't get out of it. So, and then Sanchi went out in the 5th, and same thing, couldn't find a plate. I don't know what it was, but yeah, it's frustrating for everybody. But it's only 1 loss. We got to come back tomorrow and rebound, just like these guys have done all year, really.
Is that how you try to look at it?
Yeah.
Just one. I mean, I guess you have to, right?
Yeah. You just got to flush it and forget about it. I mean, it happens every once in a while, but you just got to turn the page and move on.
Is Ranger healthy?
Yeah.
Didn't have any problems? Because this is 2 in a row. He's a command guy. He's just sort of vanished in the middle innings.
Yeah, no, he hasn't said anything. Yeah.
Would you make it the Segura play, the error? That was huge. You surprised you couldn't.
Yeah, it looked like a bit of a up hop. I don't know what happened, if it hit something or what, but it looked like a turkey hop. And the kid hit the ball, they can fly. McCarthy and Carroll, they can really run.
You guys, I mean, the way you were hitting Bumgarner, there were 9 balls of 100 plus.
Yeah.
Harper hits 2 of them, 113. You're up 7-0. Do you just feel like you just totally gave one away?
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, it happens, I guess. But yeah, we really swung the bats well and playing good defense early. And sometimes when guys don't throw strikes, you kind of get on your heels, and it looks like, it looks ugly.